I'm gonna say that again. If you can't manage a bitch in your rotation, you ain't gonna be able to manage no wife, no family, no none of that. You can cut it out. Real talk. Real talk. Right? You need to learn how to deal with shits like pullbacks. You know how I know how to deal with pullbacks? So if I'm in a relationship and my girl pull back on me, I know what to do. You know how I learned that? Not from watching YouTube. Because a bitch pulled back on me plenty of times. Bitches have pulled back from me. And I figured out, okay, what happened when the first time it happened and I pursued after the woman, nothing came of it. But I remember one time, and this is when it's really stuck with me. Right. And I've always been a nonchalant type of guy. Right. I've always been a nonchalant type of guy, especially when I was younger. When I was younger, I really didn't give a fuck. Right. But it was one particular time, I think I told this story. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but one of my girls that I had, this was a real relationship. Something happened between me and her. Right. And I was probably 20 years old when this happened. I was 20 years old when this happened. Something happened between me and her. I basically put her on ice, right? But she came back, we was good, and then something happened again, and she basically put me on ice, right? And I remember, just like yesterday, this was when payphones was out, and like Boost, Nextels, and shit. And this is when they had the payphones. You can go to a payphone and put 35 cents in and call a motherfucker from the payphone outside. Right, but she had my number. She had both of my numbers, not blocked, but she wasn't paying. She wasn't picking up. I had two phones. I had a regular phone. I had a phone that I used to work off, a chirp, a Nextel chirp. Right, niggas in the streets used to work off the Nextel chirps because the police couldn't tap them. It was a walkie-talkie, and the police. It was for you younger guys. It was Nextel, a company Nextel, which Sprint bought. I think they merged with Sprint. But they had these phones that was for they was marketed geared towards like construction workers and shit. Like all the construction workers had these phones. That they was phones, but they had walkie-talkies. They had a walkie-talkie function. And street guys learned that the police couldn't tap these. So every niggas in the streets had Nextels or whatever. So that had the walkie-talkie chirps. We call them chirps. So I had one of these phones and I had a regular phone. I had two numbers. So I was calling her and she wasn't picking up from my numbers. So I would call from my homie shit. She wasn't picking up. So I go to the payphone, completely different number because she put me on ice, right? I'm 20 years old. So she put me on ice and I'm calling her. I call from the payphone. She pick up. She rushed me off the phone. So boom, I call her back. She don't pick up no more, right? So one of my homies came over. I'm like, hey, bro, let me use your phone. And I ain't telling him it was to call a bitch, right? So I done been calling this bitch for a few days. So I call her. She don't know this number because this a homie that haven't been over here, haven't been to the crib, been to my crib, right? Since me and her been going through it. So I got a new homie that, not my new homie, but my homie came over and it's a new phone that I ain't used to call this bitch. So I call her from this number and I'm like, look here, it's my last time calling you. I'm not calling you no more. I'm done with the games. Go on and do what you gonna do. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I just want to let you know that, give you some closure. I'm done with this shit. And I hung up on her. Right? I hung up on her. And it completely, I basically called her and be like, look, I'm done with it. I ain't playing with you. I'm done playing your little game. I ain't fucking with you. And I hung up on her. And it completely turned the dynamic. And then she started chasing me. Like right then and there. Completely when I hung up on her. She called me back like an hour later. So I stopped picking up the phone for her ass. And she started chasing me and popping up and doing all that other shit. And I learned right then and there. Right? It set in right then and there when I'm talking about pullbacks. I go into a whole rant, but I was initially talking about learning pullbacks. I didn't learn pullbacks from YouTube because we didn't have YouTube. It's because I learned then that if a woman pull back from you and you pursue her, it's only gonna make it worse, and you're just gonna give her power to keep going and keep going, right? But what I learned was, if you don't chase them, they'll come back to you, right? And I said that to say the only reason that I knew this is because I was in the field playing, dealing with women, You understand what I'm saying? And I had to learn this the hard way. And so I realized, okay, when they do this and they pull back from you, don't keep chasing it. And every time I learned, okay, it happened again 2-3 months later. Bitch pull back. All right. Initially, at first, it's a silence for a day or two. They always come back running. You don't care about me and all this shit. I learned this when I was really young. So, but I learned it because I was out here in the field. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to learn, right? You need to learn how to deal with conflicts. When you're in relationships, when how you going to learn how you going to deal with, family conflict and family drama if you can't deal with small little rotational drama? You know how they say, how you going to manage $1,000? How you going to manage 100,000 if you can't manage 1,000? The universe ain't going to give you 100,000 and you can't manage 1,000. You see what I'm saying? It's the same. The universe ain't going to give you no submissive wife to take care of, and you don't even know how to basic conflict resolution that comes with dealing with women. When you deal with women long enough, you're going to have conflict, bro. And if you can't manage small conflict that come from having women in your rotation, because even those type of women gonna have some type of conflict. Like the video last week, like how I was showing you how Nipsey was shutting down conflict before it even started, right? With his girl, how he was able to shut down conflict before it even started. He learned that from dealing with women. You ain't gonna learn that just on the fly once you get your wife. No, you learn that shit when you out here in the game and you dealing with these petty conflicts that come from your rotation hoes and the hoes you just dating. That's the petty shit. But in order to level up to the big shit, you got to handle the petty shit first. So you're gonna have to learn how to deal with pullbacks, conflicts, and beef. You're gonna have to learn how to deal with that and not put your emotions into it. And you're gonna have to feel what it's like for when you to make an emotional mistake and then a woman pull back from you and shit like that. Because what happened when your wife pulled back from you? Right? And you all in love and you invested and you monogamous, so you can't depend on no other bitch. What you gonna do then? More than likely behave in a way that turn your wife even further and drive her away even further. You understand what I'm saying? So again, number 3, you have to learn how to deal with women and maintain them. This is why you should play the field. See, y'all think I'm gonna say play the field so you can get out here, get hoes, and enjoy life. Ha 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 ha. No, you have to play the game in order to get. You have to play the low levels of the game in order to get to the high levels.
In today's social media age, the dating game has become ruthless and competitive, with the technological advances we've made in society being the main culprit. Social media and dating apps have leveled the playing field so that now women have the power of choice and options. But where does that leave you? Frustrated, disappointed, lonely, left on scene, canceled dates, ghosting. Let's just be friends and I need to get to know you more. Rejections. I know it seems like you're on a dark, dead-end road, but that changes right now. I have the solution for you. I have the keys to transform you into the ultimate ladies' man that women can't resist. Yes, you too can be amongst the 5% of men who know this game. This system will teach you the entire seduction process from the initial approach all the way to escalating to sex. Learn step by step how to transform yourself into the attractive man that the modern woman finds irresistible. Gain valuable skills such as screening, texting, flake prevention, sexual escalation, and so much more. Are you ready to start winning? Are you ready to become the ultimate ladies' man?